First and foremost is that when young groups of Muslims do activism together, then there tend to be certain pitfalls, challenges that you should look out for. One of them is that some of you are very driven and very eager to get work done. Some of you don't put the foot on the accelerator entirely. And those of you that do get frustrated with those of you that don't. Right? So you start expecting everybody to be operating at full capacity, but not everybody does operate at full capacity. And that can create tensions inside of a group. Right? Because some people were expected to do things in a certain time, they didn't finish them, and now there's disappointment and maybe even a snickering comment here and there, or an email that's a little too condescending, or these kinds of things happen, right? So my advice, first of all, is to recognize that volunteers are a gift from Allah. None of you get paid to do this. You're doing this out of the goodness of your hearts. May Allah accept that from you. And you cannot expect the zeal that you bring to be the standard for everybody else. You don't know their situation, you don't know what personal stuff they're going through, you don't know what kind of time commitment they're able to make, etc., etc. There's no reason to be condescending and talk down to someone, especially never, ever, ever quote Quran or Sunnah to make a point to someone in a conversation. Like, bro, you promised you'd be done by 8 o'clock, it's 9 o'clock, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu awfu bil uqud. Like, don't do that. That's dirty, it's unacceptable. It's using the religion for something very low, like winning an argument. Don't use the sacred word for that. Not a hadith, not an ayah. If somebody's late, it's okay. I realize something must have happened. I hope you're all right. Kill it with kindness instead of that kind of commentary, right? Religious guilt tripping is a horrible, horrible thing. You're pushing people away from deen that way. The second thing I'd say is, an event like this one, for example, can be pretty taxing, right? So you spend a lot of time, effort, coordination, running around and things like that. And of course, because you guys are young, I imagine that you are taking time away from home to do so, or studies to do so. And for a lot of you, that time needs to be made up with your parents. So to compensate for this kind of activism, to actually go out of your way to do things at home over the next couple of days, even if it means taking time off from the group. And actually leadership of the group should acknowledge that for you guys to be like functional activists, you need to be very functional members of your family. A lot of times young people, the more active they become, the more dysfunctional at home they become. And there's a direct correlation between those two things. That correlation needs to be broken. The more active you become, the more successful you become in your groups, in your youth group, in your activism, the better your family sees you. And that's actually an important part of the work you're doing. That's actually not even some home thing. That's actually one of the goals of a group, is for you all to become better family members, inshallah ta'ala. So I would take that as a serious priority. Then the next is patience with Muslims. Like, you guys are here to serve people that may not carry the best adab. You have about 1,000 people in the hall. Some people can be very obnoxious. Some people can be very entitled. Some people can really get under your skin and things like that. Just understand that all of those people, because you could just turn around and say, listen, I don't get paid to do this. I don't know why you're getting off talking to me this way, and put people in their place. But this is a kind of opportunity where adillatin ala al-mu'mineen is put to the test. Like, you're humble before other believers. You just let it go. You're just here to do something good. Don't ruin it by getting angry because somebody's getting out of line. Let them get out of line, it's okay. It doesn't cost you anything, And you'll see the fruit of that down the road, inshallah. So those are just a few bits of advice about the kind of work you guys are doing. I'm very, very appreciative. Maybe one more thing came to mind is interaction between the guys and the girls. Just some things about that. It's perfectly normal for men and women to interact with each other, and actually a youth group kind of setting is a good setting. I actually think that's a good setting. It teaches you a kind of healthy interaction between the genders. Your elders are there to kind of keep things within checks and balances. You are going to deal with the opposite gender at the university, you're going to deal with them at work, you're going to deal with them in society at large anyway, right? But when you're dealing with them within this kind of a setting, it's a good opportunity for you to learn how to, on the one hand, work and cooperate with each other, and on the other hand, don't become overly friendly and casual and chummy with the opposite gender, but on the other hand, not become overly stiff and awkward either. You can function as human beings. You can have a normal conversation with a sister, it's fine. Just don't be giggly about it. And don't, and don't start taking it south or north or whatever. Just stay on point. But that's okay. Like my job is I'm a teacher. I teach. Part of teaching is humor. Part of teaching is asking questions. Part of teaching is interacting with people casually too. I respect all of those things for both the male and female students that I have. I'm far more casual with the guys. I play sports with them, I hang out with them, I go out with them, etc. Obviously, that's never going to happen with the sisters, but when we're in the classroom, I treat them equally. There's no difference between the two. I'll humiliate a sister in class as much as I will a guy. If they got an answer wrong, they will suffer my wrath. No problem. They're not going to say, oh, that's a sister's section, let's be dignified about this. No, they're in my classroom. Dignity left when the period began. So be normal around each other, inshallah. So that's just a few things. Yeah.